Do you think Jihad has been a model of consistency for you guys amid everything that's going on? He's got 92 tackles and really seems to kind of be the high motor guy every game for you guys.
He's been of the consistent guys. He's been one of them. I'm sure he has higher expectations than the way he's played too. Though I know he can play better. He knows that, but he has been one of our more consistent guys. Yes.
Did he talk about wanting to reach 100 tackles before the season started? I'm sure guys have their own personal goals in addition to the team goals, and I believe kind of 100 tackles for linebackers, kind of a feather on their cap, maybe.
He hadn't mentioned anything about numbers of tackles as a goal. I think he'd like to, be known as one of the better linebackers in the conference and that type of thing. But he hasn't mentioned any numbers. I don't even know that that's on his mind. He just wants to go out there and play the best he can every week.
Coach, when you're playing a team like Stanford, does the Stanford that you're watching now on film in 2019, are they still that same physical, like, ground and pound team? Does that change how you really prepare for them?
I don't know that the only game I watched them play in the past was our game last year, and they weren't that last year. There was certain situations that they were, but I think they threw the ball a lot more in that game than they had coming into the game. They have elements of the run game with 12, 13, and 14 personnel. And, are they going to go big and try to pound the ball? I bet they would probably try to do that some, but they can still throw it around a lot. They got 3 guys with over 35 catches. Tight end's a great weapon. The quarterbacks are good. Running backs are really good. So, we're trying to prepare for everything. We don't know how they're going to come out and try to attack us, but once we get in the flow of the game, we'll have an idea.
Bryce Love was kind of the guy for about 2 or 3 years there, and now Scarlett's, I believe he's fourth in the conference in rushing. What stands out about him when you watch him on film?
Yeah, he runs really hard. He's a strong back, similar to Borghi in the lower half, that they break a lot of tackles, runs downhill hard, has a little bit of wiggle in the hole. So he's definitely very good. And then they got a couple other guys that can really go, especially 32. He comes in there, he does some fly sweeps and screens and things like that. So they got some weapons in the backfield too.
When you play a team that uses as many tight ends as Stanford does, I don't know if you will play another team that uses as many as they do. What does that change for you guys?
Yeah, well, it's definitely different than what we see every day in practice, and that's the challenge. Is we don't get to see that year round, and you got to do some of that stuff in the off season and in fall camp to get ready for it. We saw some of it last week, and there's some things that we did, and there's some things that we didn't do that we might have wrinkles for against those bigger personnel groups. But you got to try to match personnel the best you can, and try to slow down the run game. That's what they're going to try to do: line up and pound the ball in those big personnel groups, and still be sound against a play action pass.
With the scout team, do you guys throw some defensive linemen as tight ends, or
right,
how do you guys try and work that out since you guys don't actually roster
right.
a tight end?
We've done it both ways. We put Rocky Catawanga's gone in there at tight end a little bit. We'll put some tackles out there at tight end. They don't run the routes quite at the speed that you'll see on game day, but it's the best we can do. So we make the best of the situation, and they give us a really good look in the run game because they'll come hard at you.
Do the tackles get kind of excited when they get to play scout team tight end?
They're getting a little more used to it. They beginning of the year when we do it, they were really excited to go out there and try to catch it, and it didn't look too natural. So they're getting a little better at it. So I think they're having some fun with that.
Are you impressed that this team's morale has seemed to stay pretty high despite being 1-5 and everything you guys have gone through? Doesn't look like that this team is really dropping in confidence right now?
No, I don't think so at all. I think they're frustrated because they know they can play a lot better. Every one of them, nobody on the team thinks they can't play better, and I think that's the encouraging thing is that we can all get better. They've been sticking together. They've been fighting together. They work hard every day. Our practices this week are some of the best we've had, and we've been practicing good every week. It's just got to carry over to the game where we have to execute the calls better.
Has there been more urgency in practice and more tempo, more speed to get things done quicker, or just moving around more? Or?
That's hard for me to say because I think we've been pretty. We've practiced really well on defense the last 4 or 5 weeks, so it's hard for me to say overall. Maybe overall there seems to be a little bit more energy, I guess, but it's hard for me to say because I think we've had really good practices.